Stay with us. James is awaiting in the wings to talk about an issue that Kate and I are keen to find out about. Is there or is there not, James, a future in the French language for the circumflex accent?
It's a very important
Because this is France talking about actually changing important aspects that we all had to slave our way through in school to get right. If we didn't get it right, we were marked down.
Well, a lot of people are very angry about it, and they've really
quite rightly
jumped
too,
on
I
this
say.
issue as something that needs to be rebelled against. CBC put it well, that's the Canadian state broadcaster. The French are upset about some words losing their hats. And you also had like accent smileys and saddies and frownies and whatever you want to call them. And the rather unnecessary je suis circonflexe hashtag. People,
oh, that's funny.
People actually, some of them sincerely defending it, others just thinking, well, this is a bit of a laugh, and being quite ironic. The town of Nîmes got very, I think, authentically concerned for a moment, because you see there was a lot of confusion in the earlier part of the day and yesterday over whether or not the accent was going to be done away with across the board, which would lead to confusion because it is sometimes necessary to distinguish it from other words. We'll come back to that. But you had some people saying, I shall ignore the French reform orthographique just as I ignored the 1996 German Rechtschreibreform. So that is somebody who just does not want to in any way conceive or go with it.
Okay, making this personal, we could go back to school or university and get our French studies regraded, couldn't we? You know,
we probably could actually. It would
legally we could do it now.
It would require some time travel potential, but
I'm sure they've all destroyed our papers.
When time travel is invented, let's do that.
Certainly mine, which was written on a slate. I'm that old. You know.
It could change everything. It's like the butterfly effect. The vote to remove the accent circumflex from over 2,400 French words is a horrific erasure of linguistic history. Now, this is somebody who is actually a purist in terms of the origins of the words, because the circumflex often indicated how the word was pronounced or the origins of the word. Sometimes it had a Latin origin.
I take off my hat to Keenan Nolla for that one.
There you
definitely.
go. Language purists. Now we get to, you see, it's not just the circumflex. They're also changing the spelling of certain words. Weekend is losing the hyphen that it never had in English in the first place, and it was imported into French as an English word, originally an English word. It got a hyphen, which it should never have had, and now it's going away. A lot of English speakers think that that's very fair. Now here's where it gets a little bit complicated. Sur, which means on top of, and sur, which means sure or certain,
has the circumflex, yeah,
and sur, which means on top of.
Doesn't have the circumflex.
So this is one of those tongue twister type things where people are showing that it has different meanings.
You get Kate to say it. Go on, Kate.
I don't think Kate wants to say it.
I absolutely won't say it. I always had gold stars in French grammar anyway, so I don't want to get involved.
Je suis sûr, Raymond. J'aime ça. Je suis sûr, Raymond. J'aime ça. C'est vrai que l'accent circonflexe ne change rien.
Okay, I'll say the first one. I am sure, Raymond. I like it.
I like it. I am on Raymond.
I like it. Now, what does Raymond think about this? That is the question, but we don't.
Raymond wouldn't like that, would he?
We don't know.
This one is dangerous, James.
That was wasn't it all over Facebook?
I'm being quiet on this one.
We'll move on. We'll move on. Jeune means a fast, and jeune means a young one. So we'll just move on.
And the meaning of those two phrases, I'll deal with it very delicately.
Yes.
One says, I'm going to take a fast. The other one says, I'm going to have relations with a younger person.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean...
Find myself a bit of young, you might say,
I'm
in a nicer way.
Go for a young one.
It's more sleazy, actually, the actual translation.
Right. But people did snigger at that online today. And then you have a mature man and a wall man. So you've got George Clooney on the left and wall man, which makes as little sense in English as it does in French, Mark. So there you go. People having a bit of fun with that.
So how can they get rid of the circumflex accent then?
Well, all right. It does get a technical and grammatical, and I'm not going to go into all the...
Get me the Academy Française on the phone now, James.
Well, Le Monde did try to clear it up. No, the accent circumflex is not going to disappear. It is being... There is a reform of 2,400 French words. In some cases, the accent circumflex does go away. To be very specific, over A and E, it will remain, because it only concerns vowels. Over I and U, it will become optional. And in words where such as mur and moor, where it changes the meaning of the word, it'll obviously stay. In the case where it
Gentlemen I follow on Twitter, Matthew Fraser's just been talking about that too, saying no, they're not going to get away with it completely, right. But, you know.
That's right.
Thanks, Matthew.
This person says, I couldn't give a flying something or other about these things.
That's rude as well. Yeah.
And yes, I have always spelt nénuphar this way. Nénuphar is water lily, and that used to be spelled with a PH, and now it's being spelled with an F. And I am Chinese hat. Look, really, it was kind of insane on Twitter today with this sort of stuff. It's not that important, but it dominated the discussion.
But it goes back to, like, you know, when we were learning the language at school, you know, you had to get the accents right or you were marked wrong. It's making it now easier to learn the language. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Well, a lot of people are annoyed about all the wasted time, Mark.
Okay. James, we need to leave it there. Otherwise, our producer's going to change my accent to a circumflex from a grave or whatever. Thank you, sir.
Chapeau.
James of Media Watch. Kate, of course, sitting here giggling away on business.